Ah! Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at NEXZ take on J-Ho's choreo to Eve's Tambourine. I'm very intrigued by this because J-Ho a lot of times vibes more with the R&B side of things when you look at a lot of his choreography. But not saying he doesn't do this style, I'm just more familiar seeing a lot of his niche in content stem from that genre. So I'm excited to look at this. I'm excited to see how J-Ho's gonna puzzle piece himself in like we've seen with all the other groups. Let's get started. Nice. Nice. Yep. Ah, nice. Honestly, everybody's doing a fantastic job matching J-Ho. Like J-Ho blends the freak in on that. And normally it could be because of his fit, but I mean, normally it's pretty clear who the choreographer is. When J-Ho joined, you had to look for him. That's impressive. Also, yay that everybody has sleeves for this. That's awesome. But a very interesting thing that I want us to look at is, where are they shooting this? They're shooting this at 1 million. Why are they shooting it at 1 million when J-Ho, for the longest time, has been affiliated with Just Jerk, who has their own studio? That's what I find interesting about this. Now, I've heard, in my neck of the woods, I've heard a couple things that have gone down in the past couple of months in regards to a member of the group, and some people have decided to step away from Just Jerk as a result of these actions. I only know, what people tell me or what is on common threads. So I don't know these people, so I'm not gonna sit here and say what the real tea is. I don't actually know. I just probably know as much as you. But if you have anything to contribute to that particular instance, comments are a great place for us to discuss that. But anyway, that's an interesting thing here, that we're at 1 mil and we're not at Just Jerk. It's not like Just Jerk wasn't available, because they literally filmed their last one there. So okay. Anyway, now from here, from the top, well, they have the shaky-ish camera again, so we gotta 0.75 it for me, just so we can appreciate it. Right here, he takes it, boom, nice little accent to have everybody do a nice little speed change, bringing it up and over. Am I gonna do scavenger hunt today? I probably won't, because it's been a hot minute, and I don't think I have a lot of confidence. And a couple of them have changed their names, or they want to be represented by a different name. Ken is not being called Ken in the videos anymore, and that's really hard for me to switch. So we're gonna just enjoy the group as a group. I don't really have many constructive things to say about this, which is, so I think for me not being able to call them by their name, I think is okay for today. We'll work on it for debut. Anyway, really nice to set up the tone on that. He takes it, nice little nice on the tambourine, ding, 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 really nice. Bringing it through. Now, this type of track, people have done a lot of content to. A lot of people have done like a grunge, like full out. Like this song is known as a full out track. So dancing full out to it feels like the best plan of action for it, especially with a lot of people who have affiliation with those that are on this track. So it's definitely in like the commercial side of things. When people pop off when this song comes on. It is one of those tracks. It is hot and heavy. They do a really great job of holding it down. I was very intrigued on how J-Hope was going to choreograph it, because a lot of times he can have, I'm not saying a stiffer essence and groove, but it definitely has a more refinedness to it, and his tension works very well with R&B, which is why I was very intrigued on how he was going to do this track. They do a great job. It's fun. So I like the level representation represented, where you have your upper level, where you have your feature in the center, and then you have your two on the out behind him, and then you have 4 that are a little bit lower. Really nice. To do a good job. Nice little party. Da 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 da. Really nice and full. One of them branches out. And shout out, everybody got sleeves. I'm telling you, that really took away from the ring-a-ling. I think that one is still just a texture and isolation choreo. I really like that one. It's just, ooh, right that. I like the format of this one, but I think Kirsten's still, maybe it's because it was the first one, Kirsten's really had a really dope format in how she did it. And there was a lot of fundamental heaviness in it, and I feel like we got to see them shine fundamentally, and maybe that's just my cup of tea. Who knows? But anyway, I really like this. I like the little hop. They take it. The airtime on that is freaking sick. They take it, and they project him off. Good camera shot to get it lower, so it makes it feel like he's higher. I like that. Drops it down. Very nice transition over. Nice throws with a crisscross. And notice that instead of just doing it ambidextrously on both sides, the crisscross is the same on both sides. They take it, but then they internalize, or they make it a little bit more tricky, or isolated with the upper body with the arms. Really cool. They hit it through. I like that choice. Notice they are allowing that chest to be involved with that arm. Looks great. I appreciate that. Rock and bounce are going to be really helpful on this. This is a little, it does feel like we're kind of like entertaining Harlem Shake, those types of variants, but there's so much a variant that it doesn't kind of look like it, but I see that the format of it's there with the switch of the shoulders, switch of the feet, but you don't really do that in a Harlem Shake. It's mostly this that you look at. And then how they choose to polyrhythmicize it is really cool. So if anything, it's such like a niche way of doing a lot of the moves that you normally see fundamentally. So I think it's dope. And then the subtlety of that, they hit it boom, boom, nice and like slinky as they push the hips back. Really dope. Clapping, boom, drum, really nice on that percussion. Super dope. Then they take it through. We only got 5 of them represented right now. He takes it, brings it around. It does feel like we're doing a little Dougie, but I don't even call it, I wouldn't even equate it to a full Dougie. Yeah, so it's not even, it kind of is, but instead of like actually finishing it, they don't like finish a full, like a full movement to equate it to the move, right? But I don't mind that at all. I'm just saying that that's how not really innovative, but how, more, I guess, how stylized this is kind of the best way I can put it. I really like it. They chunk that foot, they use the opposition, dropping it back down. This is still a lot of information to talk about, and I have it at 0.75. It is just very, very compact, but it's not too loud. Why? It's Tambourine by Eve. It is a loud AF song, so it's having a lot of this type of movement. I'm impressed, but normally I see people just, that rock and that bounce is ginormous, you know, and I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of both perspectives. That turn, I like that little pivot turn around, looks really dope. Then the subtlety on this, nice little cross over. It does feel like are we vibing and teetering on a little borracho? Maybe I wouldn't equate it to that, but you can see a little ball change with the switch out on that. Really fun. I like the subtlety, using the chest to complement that, showcasing a fun angle as well. Brings it up. Do-do-do-do-doom. Really nice. I like how we're hitting that. A lot of times people don't hit that part, that do-do-do-doom. Cool. Then normally they hit that shake the tambourine, da-da-da-da. They just go pop, 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 and they just pop off. But here it goes do-do-do-doom. There's a lot of digestibility, and there's a lot of this that's taking place, you know, like a heartbeat, which you want. You want your dance to be alive. You don't want to flatline. So this is great. And right there, I love that too. It's just little, it really feels like we're hitting on that ding, ding, ding in the top part of the music. So it's really subtle. Because it's at the top of the head, that's why it feels very placed, because it's a higher sound on the scale of music. I like that part of the transition. Yeah, pick it up, let's go. Nice little rotation around, they hit it down. the boom, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. I really like that choice where he hits it out, he takes it, he crosses those legs over, resets it, very full, like everybody creating a nice little cipher circle. If you don't know what a cipher is, it's, you know those party circles and somebody comes in and they dance? It's kind of like that. A lot of times I hear it a lot whenever you go to a battle or you go to a session, and you have people, you know, they're all surrounding and we're exchanging. That's like a cipher. So it's like an exhibition battle, kind of. That's like a very broad thing. Be curious. That's what a cipher is. It's not the same as a battle at all. It doesn't have the same adjudicated weight, if that makes sense. You don't have judges. It's just there. You're all exchanging. It's there, isn't it? You know, to explore and to be inspired by each other. So that's what the cipher is. And I always prefer those for me, because I like being able to be inspired by people. And you can still be inspired in battles, but it's a different mentality, different toolkit, adjudications, the whole different ballgame. But here, I really like that, and I like that they accent it, whatever he's doing as the feature. And what's nice about it too is what he's doing, he knows what the choreo is, which is just simple, you know, no, hey, hey. So for him, having an up bounce on this instead of a down bounce allows for the momentum to carry and make it feel collaborative between him as the feature and everybody else who's surrounding and framing him. So that's it's little things like that that I really appreciate, because it feels communal and it feels collaborative. It doesn't feel combative. So unless it's intentional that way, but here, I like that. He takes it, boom, they throw, nice little cut over to the next shot, bring it through, da-da-da round, looks really dope. Little trot hit, little kickball change. Like the subtlety of that looks really nice. Hitting it out, little woo, love that snaking action as the transition. He takes it through, moving on, traveling it through, boom, da-da. I like the subtlety, subtlety in comparison to what they just did. Once again, you have a lot of full movement, and then they're switching that texture, switching the dynamic to make the smaller, more subtle movements, but it's not even really small. It's just more muted in comparison, how they hit it, and it makes it a nice moment, a nice breather, even though it requires just as much energy in the switch between the full energy and the subtle energy, in order to create this dynamic or this drastic shift where both can be appreciated. That's why that's important, because if everybody's full energy the whole time, at a certain point we can't appreciate what they're doing because it's just so full and we're getting oversaturated in it, and our minds become, you know, desensitized. You know, we can do that about anything, right? And so having such the subtlety in the shifts just alone between the textures that they output and input are really nice, because it allows us to appreciate both sections, like what I was saying. It's just really, I admire that. And of course, I'm always a fan. I know that they probably spent about 6 days on this. I love the fact that they did. I'm excited for the behind the scenes, because maybe some of my questions at the beginning will be answered there as to why we're shooting at 1 mil and not at Just Jerk Academy. I feel like I have a lot of questions that have nothing to do with NEXZ and everything to do with everything else. But this is the world we're in. It's just so interesting, right? But anyway, I like the subtleties of boom, ha, ha. I really like the throws on that. And because notice they threw it and then they added a little dig to set it up, and then they threw it again. I really like that. Super dope. And right here, he goes, boom, them bottles, they all nice and subtle and low. I like the hinges taking place. They dee-dee-dee, really nice, syncopated, super dope. It's so different in energy than what we've seen so far. New introduction and maybe some different types of ISOs. Super fun. Love it. That right there, it's just a nice base, and it's so important. This is the exact thing that I just talked about. We're seeing it right here. So you have, it's nice and subtle, just the vocals. Sometimes people dance too heavy on vocals, especially if there's going to be a bass that hits like this, which is exactly what we see here. The bass is like an exclamation to the end of the sentence of the movement, right? So you have your movement, boom, they go, bah, accent, and then we're nice conversational once again. Thank you, J-Ho, for the choreo for that, and thank you for the boys to showcase that physically so we can appreciate that and hear the track in this way. Because I've heard this track many a times. These are a couple sounds that I haven't had the privilege of hearing in this way. And that's the power of dance, everyone. I love it. Subtlety of this as well. You have that little ball change switch again. It's a fingerprint from what we've done before. He takes it, da-da-da-da. Yeah, turn it around. Nice little Indian step. That ba-da-da, nice drop right there. Super fun. Brings it around, D-D-D. He said, let's go, little box step. Presenting himself. Then we've moved it over. Then we have a nice da-da-da. I love the little ball change shift on that. Taking it around. Nice subtlety to drop it a little bit more. There's your Harlem Shake. It goes shake. Get it? So it's a Harlem Shake. And it goes on the word shake. Wonderful wordplay. Yes, J-Ho. I love a good pun of moves. And nice little level shift from our feature in the front. It's nice to showcase the 3. Makes him a natural person to watch because he was the one that deviated. So subtle, but it was still effective for us to clock him, right? And I think I own that flannel. Yeah, it's a good vibe. He wins the fit check because I probably own about 25% of what he's wearing. It's dope. He takes it over, nice little body roll, little jack to set it up. 1, 2, 2, 3. Let's baseball bat it. Here we go. Okay, if you don't know where J-Ho is, he's right here. But he's wearing fits that's very similar to everybody else. I really like that, personally. And side note, if you haven't seen my perspective on J-Ho and Just Jerk and 1 Million and all of them in Street Man Fighter, I highly implore you go look, because I remember talking about his choreo for the choreo selection of Law, and his was one of my favorites. I think I had like 3 preferences, and his was one of them, and how he was physically moving. And he was my front runner compared to Wu-Tae, compared to those two for the actual audition. He bodied that choreo. So that's just a little side note. If you're curious about that, it's there. It's all over YouTube. I have it released. And that one should be released too. But anyway, it's really fun to see him here. And like I said, he disappears in the best way possible, meaning that they all hold their own so well. He pops up. He's going for it. I can see the difference between him marking and him going full. And he's going for it. And so was everybody else. And I love it because it feels like a freaking group. It feels like a group of 8, you know? That's so dope. It's so cool. Taking it through that boom, da-da-da. Oh, so fun. And he takes it, get your steps up, boom. I love that. So it goes single, single, and then subtle, subtle, single. Love that. It's really fun. And we would call that basic, you know, just a basic pattern. But whether or not how you shift the fullness of it, that is what always can up your difficulty. That's with any move you ever see in choreo. The choreography, if you have it at like 50% speed, it's gonna feel easier than other choreographies if you just sped it up to full speed. It's hard because it's fast, right? But then there's certain choreographies where the actual movement is hard to do. I would say a great choreographer would be Keone Madrid, is the epitome of that. Chris Martin's an epitome of that. Sean Liu. They have movements in isolation. Even if you remove the music from it, the movement is really tricky to do. But in J-Ho's case, it's his sequences and how he puzzle pieces his movements together and how he rides the music. If you don't have an understanding of musicality, it's going to be hard to know where all of his movements go. So every choreographer has a different niche of what they create complexity with. If they are a choreographer that's their thing, right? Because some choreographers like to vibe beginner, intermediate, and I think they're just as important as the really complex polyrhythmic ones. I digress. From here, I really like, you know, seeing a lot of the movements here, like that move right there. The movement, learning in isolation, is fine, but being able to drop the weight syncopated like what you saw is what makes it difficult. So those of you who are aspiring dancers, fear not. These types of things you can do one day. You just have to know how to go about learning them, right? Sometimes it's always like finding the right teacher that provides you the fundamentals and the safe enough environment to fail, because it's going to take time. Anyway, but the subtlety of that, I love that. Once again, we already saw that earlier, but how he hits it. Notice that it feels more, it's like a fling of the arm versus a fullness of the back. So that's different. This hits different than this, and that's how J-Ho kind of hit it. And I like the dynamic. It's just, it's subtle but effective. They take it around the switch, and then look at the subtlety there. That yeah, boom, da da da. Woo-hoo-hoo. Nice little pop around, nice little transition in the back, but you created, you know, uniformity in the front. They stayed where they are, but it still felt like something was happening, because something was happening. The transition was happening in the back. So it still allowed movement, but it's not so much movement that we are disconnecting from the actual choreo. Cool. I like how he had his movement. He did double, and then he went and took it back. Everybody else did not do arms, so J-Ho's now our feature. So he got featured similarly to how all the other members were featured in the track, which I, once again, like. Taking it through, boom, hit. Nice little butterfly variant right there. Looks really nice with a clap, clap. Super fun. Nice moment, nice transition again. The subtlety, boom, doom, doom, doom. Nice body roll, but notice that they didn't just initiate it from the chest. They used the shoulder, and the shoulder transitioned the energy over into the chest. Really dope. That D-D-D, projecting it forward, super fun. Then bring it back, da-da-da, da-da-da. I like that choice. How he uses that hinge, syncopates it with the shoulder iso, da-da-da, da-da-da, but also having groundedness in the lower half of the body. Notice I just talked about 3 completely different things, but it all makes up one move. That's the kind of stuff that brings complexity in isolation to your movement. The more polyrhythmic, so the more things that are happening at the same time, that's what's going to cause your movement to be more complex or more difficult to do. But notice he hit so many different sounds at the same time, because hip-hop music, or music that has a street style context, most of the time has a heavy polyrhythmic presence. That's something that is always talked about in the beginner, when you think about like beginner hip-hop, when you're learning about hip-hop, which Montel Durden has a fantastic book on. That's what he talks about. Hip hop's polyrhythmic, and that's why a lot of people get scared of it, because you're hitting multiple things at the same time. Oh, anyway, but I like that right there. Nice little feature moment with just the rotation. Everybody nailing it right here. Nice chest iso with taking those feet and expanding them out. Looks super fun. Nice little throw, doon, doon, throw, and then we scoot it out. Look at hey, yes, party. Come on, and we hit it up once again. So we go, hey, and then right here we become more unified. We're still using a rock to help project and promote the move, but we're still doing our leg, but our leg is more unified. Everyone's on the same page there instead of their own kind of individual choice. Yep, so that part, notice that everybody kind of did their own arm choice. The reason why that worked and it still felt somewhat clean is because notice where the camera was. The camera was focusing more on the leg work, right? So hitting it through. Yeah, so you can see them all in the upper body. You see the party happening, but notice what's clean. Everybody's lower half's on the same page, which is what helps us appreciate both and showcase that was an intentional choice for everybody to be individuals, but not just forgetting what the choreo is. So I appreciate that immensely. Looks great. Hitting it through, hitting it, nice little barrel jump into a finish. Really fun way to go. Yo! Cool. I like this one a lot. You guys may ask me which one's my favorite. So the ones we've seen so far was Drop by Kirsten, Ring-a-Ling by Alex, Rena's, I forgot the name of that song, right? And then this one with J-Ho. I still think Kirsten's, I think, is my favorite fundamentally. Texture-wise would be Alex's. I think communication and learning experience is probably Rena. And for this one, I don't know. We'll have to watch the behind the scenes. I think this one, I'm intrigued for the behind the scenes for different reasons. I'm just intrigued on how J-Ho works with them compared to whenever I've learned from J-Ho before, and I've analyzed his stuff in isolation as well. I'm curious how he teaches them, because in an online format, he teaches very, very quickly. So I'm curious if he's a bit slower here because he has more time, or if he just teaches all of it and they're like, what? Because I can see that being a possibility. But I mean, I really like the fact that NEXZ's doing these. Personally, I feel like they've debuted at this point just from how much content we've gotten from them, and how spaced out it is. It feels like little mini dance comebacks at this point, which I think is really fun. But I do know they technically have not debuted yet, so I'm intrigued on what their actual discography outside of Miracle is gonna look like. I think it'll be fun. Man, NEXZ is killing it in the dance content side of things. I cannot wait to see more of what they bring, as not only from other choreographers' perspectives and how they physically do it with the choreographer, but also their own discography. I feel like more and more as we watch these, I feel more people are like, when are we getting that debut? Because I'm starting to feel that way now, and I'm not nearly as patient as a lot of people have been. So shout out to y'all for that. I have all the other analysis and behind the scenes of all the other ones on YouTube already. These always get early released as I make them onto Patreon and as I edit them. And so if you're somebody that doesn't like waiting around for a scheduled release of content like this, Patreon will be super fun and very convenient for that. But if you're totally fine with being patient and being a part of the discussions on YouTube, I'm here for that too. I'm just so fun to do this with you guys, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.